You're gonna scratch that table. Wah, wah, wah. Fine. This is a 4th generation Lexus GS450h hybrid transmission harness. This is what has the resolver cables in it. Okay, the resolver cables are basically motor sensor cables. So why did I buy this thing? Well, did you guys ever trip and accidentally spend a ton of money on eBay? Well, neither have I. So it all started out with me wanting to help a buddy out and buy a cheap harness and then pick it up locally because I have this huge wrecking yard 2.9 miles away from me, and they charge like 35 bucks to ship a harness, plus they were accepting offers, and I just lowballed them. I think this thing was like 200 bucks, which was already a good price for a wire harness. I lowballed them with 100 and some pity potty story about me being an EV converter, and they counted with 125. I jumped on it plus tax. It ended up being $136 out the door. I like sharing prices with you guys. But this is a 4th gen Lexus GS450h harness. And we know that we can convert the 3rd gen Lexi. And those are from 2007 to 2011. And this one here is a 2013 model. So will this fit? Will this work? It needs to plug into the transmission on one end and the inverter on the other end. More specifically, it plugs in on the transmission side into the two resolvers, resolver for MG1 and resolver for MG2. I believe it also has additional plugs on here for what is called the neutral safety switch. And it also plugs in on the opposite side, not directly to the inverter, but to the inverter via the inverter wiring harness, which is also very difficult to obtain. Now, as far as I know, we can get the connectors, okay? These, I'm not sure if these are it. I think they are. So the way we identify this harness is it has this, what I call this squiggly or swivel. This part goes along the transmission side. I might actually be holding upside down. I think it goes like this. This is how it's going to plug into the transmission. These two guys dangling down here, this is MG1 resolver plug. This is MG2 resolver plug. Okay, and we can get these plugs and build our own harnesses, but I think this is something like maybe 4 pairs of twisted wire, and it's shielded, and it's just a nightmare. And with this, you can then just plug it in on both ends. There's no cutting, there's nothing. Okay, now this is offered for sale. I will on purpose strip this and pull out only the resolver cables, and I'll show you how nicely they will come out without any cutting or anything like that. And then I also want to confirm that these indeed plug in to the transmission, to the inverter, and also that I will make sure the color coding matches, okay? So stick around, and I got some work to do. All right, guys, so first a disclaimer. I'm sure you've noticed throughout my videos, I think when the camera is rolling, my IQ drops to like negative levels because I listen back to my own videos and I'm like, why couldn't I think of the word I was trying to say when I said it? So I'm not sure if you even see this part, this rambling in the video, or if I'll edit it out. But anyway, I apologize for that. So this harness is called engine wire, not engine room harness. So it's engine wire. I wonder if that's some sort of a loss in translation. So first, let's start off by talking about tools of the trade. So we're going to use a box cutter. It's what I call a box cutter. But I want to share this top tip with you because it's paramount that we start off by replacing the blade. Now you might get lucky and just flip it because these blades are double-sided. But this is important. It makes a world of difference. If you have a dull blade, it is gonna suck. Okay, you need a very sharp blade for this because we're going to be cutting the electrical tape lengthwise, and we want that blade to just glide in between the wires. That way it actually will not cut them and ruin them, but a dull blade will cause havoc. Okay, why can't I open this? Oh, for fuck's sake. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. What is happening? Okay, I can actually flip mine around, I think. And then some of the nice ones will give you spares right there. Well, that's kind of cool. Hmm. Why is this so difficult? Wow. I don't understand what is happening here. Okay. I've done this 1,000 times. You do it on camera and everything goes south. Okay, so we need a box cutter. I don't know what they're called, X-Acto knives with a sharp blade. And then we're going to need snips, dikes. This is going to be to cut our favorite zip ties. We may also need a flat screwdriver just to pry open some of this plastic junk. Here we go. So I want to start off by sort of laying this out the best we can, because I want to point out where we find the parts that we need to find in here. Okay, so this is the branch. We're going to call these branches. This runs through the transmission. This is what we need. And then let's see where the other important stuff hides. I did find them before. Of course, it's out of sight. Okay. Okay, I know this is dark on dark, but bear with me. So this is one end, and we need these two at least right here. And then the way you'll see these listed, is they're just going to be like thrown in the floor, in the garbage bag. or in a box, and you won't be able to see what I'm showing you anyway, but maybe you'll be able to spot this. But then sometimes they might be cut. That's why I want to point out, where would you find the other end? So we go all the way the opposite way. This may look like an inverter plug, but it is not. It does not exist on this harness. It's on a different harness. This is not it. These kind of middle, see how these are in the middle? The plugs we want are not on these either. We have to literally go all the way to the end, okay? And let me cut off these tags so you can see better. Okay, so there's going to be this plastic section. That's not it either. I'm pretty much telling you everywhere where not to find it. So on the opposite end of the transmission, we get what I'm going to call this like 3 branches, okay? And the plugs we want live on the middle of these 3. Hopefully this makes sense. So, you know, it's not this kind of skinny doodly thingy, and it's not this piece with the plastic, but it's this middle piece. So it's pretty much at the end. So be careful if you see some that are cut, unless you're gonna accept the fact that you're getting a cut harness. But I wouldn't buy cut harnesses unless they were like practically free, which they're not going to be. Because most likely, because this is at the longest spot, what I would consider the longest, it's going to be cut somewhere before that, right? Okay, so let me start thinning it out. That's the word I was looking for. We need to thin this out. Okay, I have my knife and I'm going to start cutting. And the reason I'm going to do that rather than carefully unwrapping everything is because I already did that. This is not my first rodeo. I unwound one of these harnesses completely. Yes, there's a video on it. And if you are having trouble sleeping, I strongly, highly suggest you give that a watch, okay? So here I am. I'm going to start on this end. I'm going to start on the inverter end, okay? Just for funsies. And we're going to see how much of this we'll end up keeping. I think we only really use 12% of what is here, which is kind of a shame, but so be it. You're going to witness a lot of glasses on, glasses off here. So here we have one of our clippy clips. And these 2 are what we're after. And you do want to take your time. Of course, I'm not going to because I'm an expert. This stuff is super gooey and sticky, okay? That's why, like, rather than peeling it like that, I'm just going to start throwing it in the trash. You can wear gloves. Sometimes I find it more difficult with gloves on. And see how this, we're cutting it lengthwise and right where it splits, and just gently, if we do that, then we can get away with it. So just really light pressure with that knife, if any at all. Okay, and here they are now. I'm going to see if I can remove this extra piece here. Okay, this is what we're after, these two buddies right here. Okay. God, this is really sticky already. Let me unwind it for you just for demonstration purposes here of what these guys look like. See how they're really nice connections, okay? So one of them has more pins than the other. I think one has 4 and one has 10, okay? And because I think one carries, I want to say, the temp sensor in it as well. Okay, let's keep going here. Have this pain in the butt junction right there. I think is this what I was talking about? That I might need a screwdriver because who knows how these go in there. Okay guys, see if you agree. I'm of the opinion, having thinned out a few harnesses in my illustrious career, I believe that when the GM engineers or the Toyota engineers are given a task like coming up with these plastic clips, they have strict marching orders to ensure that no two clips are exactly the same, okay? See if you agree with that, because man, I sometimes go into unclip those, and there's sometimes YouTube videos of people showing you how to do it, and they're have it out on some workbench or a counter, and I just chuckle because anytime I'm trying to undo a clip, I'm hanging upside down, sideways at night in the dark, trying to do it in the engine bay. Just really gently. And today I'm not concerned with following every single path like I did last time, so this shouldn't take too long to strip. Okay, all we're after is we're just after these resolvers, and we're going to start divorcing anything else from them. Again, I'm sorry I'm all the way here on this end of the table. You guys can't really see, but that's okay. You'll figure it out. Rocket science, this is not. There's a big junction there of sorts. Cut this out. Again, if you just cut with the grain, you're okay. Oh, I love these things. Got this big plastic, I don't know what it's called, cover, shielding. I just want to get it out of the way. I don't think we're even headed that way with our resolver cables, but putting a little bit more pressure there because there's plastic backing it. So just wanted to get this big old chunk off out of the way. Oh boy. There we go. Okay. Here's our two cables. Oh wow, there's something pretty heavy here. Heavy duty. Okay, where are our guys at? Right here. Okay, we're just passing through, folks. Looks like they're tangled under this other strand. I don't want to cut anything I don't have to cut, so I'll just fish them through here and keep going. Okay, maybe we're halfway already, so let's keep thrashing along. Take this big old thing off. You'll have more patience than I do if you want to preserve this plastic housing. I have no patience for this. In the trash. And we keep going. Okay. you'll find like there's a ton of white wires here. These are grounds. Okay, and we just have that much left to go, this whole plasticky thing. So we'll go after those two, but first we're just going to get the resolvers. This looks kind of different, like they maybe improved upon the design and put a little heat shield there. Okay, we have to get this housing off and we may be home free. So here's we go. At the end here, I think we have like maybe a speed sensor. And I don't know if this transmission from this newer generation has extra thingies on here. But I know that the biggest plug on here, the gray one, is for the... So, how the heck, really? Telling you, crazy. Absolutely crazy how they do this. Why can't I get this guy out? There it is. Zero patience, I told you. Okay, and here are our zip tie ties. So I may label these. It went on there. The back one will be 2, the front one will be 1, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'm gonna label these guys. Where are they? I think if it goes like this, follows the transmission, then the one in the back is gonna be 2. And then this guy here will be 1. Good enough for me. And that piece is off. You know, these plastic stupid housings don't work if they also have to tape it and if they also have to zip tie it, okay? It's a dead giveaway that it's just a fail of a design. So these are out. Now, the other ends I will follow all the way and cut because I think the other wires that you're seeing here that are kind of making me look silly are these are temperature sensors, I'm pretty sure. There's gray and green on the number 2 resolver and the red and blue on the number 1 resolver plug. They're for temp sensors, so we'll just follow them all the way back and snip them off. Let me see here what is happening here already. So that's MG2 right here. Man, they love to get tangled. There we have it. So these are the resolver cables. I am going to continue and cut these wires as far back as I can. And I'm also going to continue with so we'll follow those and cut those out as well. But yeah, you only use like 12% of this whole monster harness. It's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. What I'm going to do now is maybe continue shooting the video till we cut these wires completely out. And then I'm going to demonstrate how these plug into the inverter on both the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 because I went out and I bought the Gen 4 inverter and the Gen 4 transmission. So I have some grand aspirations, guys. I'm hoping to not really come up with a kit, but show people, share some ideas on how you can convert our beloved American muscle cars, you know, the first gen Camaros, first gen Mustangs, Mopars, Chargers, Challengers, and any truck pretty much. You know, anything that's has a rear axle, a rear live axle that are rear wheel drive. The Lexus transmission is really the only way to pull off that conversion where it makes sense. Okay, you could, you know, fabricate brackets and install the Tesla rear drive units, but you're redesigning the whole automobile from something that was, yes, it was rear wheel drive, but it was a motor. The engine was mounted in the front, had a longitudinal transmission, drive shaft. You get the idea. So using the Lexus transmission just eliminates the engine, eliminates the OEM transmission. There are no adapter plates involved. You just basically adapt a drive shaft from the Lexus output to your pumpkin, to your differential universal joint, and off you go. Make some brackets. It's a great motor for an EV conversion. All right, let's continue with the extraction, and we're going after these. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wires off of this gray neutral safety switch. That's what we're going after. Let's see where they go. So they are going, oh, don't tell me, are they going all the way to this guy here? Yeah, I wonder if, I think they're going to this plug right here. This is this big plug, but it's not the inverter plug. If I remember correctly, I think that's where they're going. So we're going to start that extraction now. Our favorite plastic clip here. How in the world are you supposed to work? Do I care? Let's cut this off too. Okay, got that off. I think I really want to get the rest of this junk off. What is holding this thing in there? I'm telling you, this is ridiculously, impossibly silly. Just come out already. In the trash. Then we have this. Gently lengthwise. Trash. Then we have this. Gently lengthwise. Okay. So, where's our horsetail here? Right here. Okay, here we are. Where is this guy going? Okay, so we have a brown wire here that's headed in the opposite direction. I think I'm just gonna nip it as far as I can where it disappears in here. Not sure I need all of it. Let's see, maybe I can get a bit more length out of that. Okay, and then the rest head in the same direction as the green ones, if you will. So that's good. What is this? Okay, did I lie to you guys? Okay, so the green wires go to this big plug, which I think is like a fuse box of sorts, and not this plug here. That's okay. So it really doesn't want to cut? What? Sure, we'll pop this case off for fun. Greg the Butcher. Here we go. Is this a big zip tie? I think it is. Take this off. Cut this gator looking thingy. Okay, so guys, you remember where our safety neutral switch goes to, because it will be on the quiz, and yes, I will forget. Okay, let's see if we can get somewhere with these now. Wow, is this the strand right here? Yeah, it might be. So I'm just gonna nip these. How many times have I dropped my dikes, man? Okay. Cut those. All right. Now we start yanking on these. See which ones come out. They're not gonna all go to the same place, guys. So you just gotta cut them as far as you can. You'll still have plenty of length on these. Where does this guy want to go? Okay. So it looks like I already pulled out all but 4. Okay, let's see where these 4 go to. Somewhere's there. Perfect. I'm gonna nip them. Did we free that all up? Yeah, so there it is. This is your safety neutral switch with, I think it was 9 wires. 2, 4, 6, 9. Yep, there it is. I don't know if this brown thing is ground because it has a union or junction. Okay, so I'm gonna wind it up. And this, for $136 plus a original Chuck Norris joke, this harness can be yours with no goop or gunk on your fingers like me. Okay, so let's extract the rest of this wire harness for the resolver, and I think this one here is, oh come on, is a temperature sensor. So where does it, what is happening here? That's crazy. Yeah, it definitely gets uglier before it gets better. Okay, and I'm trying to do this one a little bit more civilized. I want to know where it goes so we can put that down on something. Fine, I'll follow a single wire. So this goes here as well. Okay, it's this one right here. And I'm pretty sure the green one, yeah, the green one was right next to it. So this plugs in, I think, to the bigger fuse block. There's no fuses in here. This will plug into a bigger block. Okay. So now this one was MG2, and now it's completely freed up. So the temperature wires have to be cut. I apologize for that. I said there's no cutting involved. I meant really the resolver cables have plugs on both ends, really nice plugs, but forgot that the temperature ones have to be cut. Okay, so two more, the red and the blue off of this guy has to be MG1. So let's go after these. This one really likes to get tangled, huh? Okay, right here, I think. We'll know if it's the right one. Cut the blue wire! Boom. And red or pink. Again, it goes to this guy. So I'm gonna call this the harmonica. You know, so these go to the harmonica piece looking thing. So look for this narrow harmonica looking part in your pictures of listings. But yeah, I will just sell these to whoever needs them, doesn't feel like building their own wire harnesses. And again, it's just going to be for exactly what I paid for them, 136 bones and an original Chuck Norris joke. So these will still get tested on Gen 3 and Gen 4 transmissions and inverters. My goal is to see if the zombie vehicle control unit, aftermarket vehicle control unit, can control both generations. Okay, having extracted the two resolver cables out of one of the branches that run along the transmission on the, the driver's side in the States, and also pulled out the shift solenoid harness, this transmission does have a high gear and a low gear, and I believe they are geared ratios of around 2-to-1 and then 4-to-1. If you're like me and you always get confused what is high gear, what is low gear, just remember that high gear, high speed. So high gear makes you go fast, and so they are also inversely proportionate to each other. So high means low numbers, low ratio numbers. So high gear is the 2-to-1, and then low gear is inversely proportionate. So low means the high ratio number of 4-to-1. Okay, so we extracted those, and that ran down one of the branches to the transmission, the driver's side in the States. On the opposite side along the transmission, we have another branch, and what we find on this one is the safety neutral switch plug. Okay, and here you can see it's gray and has this supporting plastic shielding on it. That's how you identify it. I think it's probably the longest one on there on that branch. It's a branch that has a bunch of grounds on it. So we're going to extract this one, and I believe this one here runs to this plug, which will go into one of the PCMs. I don't know if it's the transmission control module or if it's the hybrid control module. This Lexus has bazillion modules on it. It probably has your typical ECM, engine control module, TCM, transmission control module, and then I think it has like a HCM or something, hybrid control module. So anyway, I think these wires on that end will run to this connector, and we'll go as far as we can and then just lop them off. So here we go. We are going to start on this end. And on my previous harness, I would unwind and remove keep calling these conduits, every loom, but I'm not going to do it on this one. I'll just leave this on here and extract it. So back to glasses on, glasses off. Continuing to use our sharp knife here. I have a kind of funny story about sharp knives and dull knives. I'm not gonna say who it was, but someone I know, actually a pretty good chef, was lecturing me how a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. I kind of didn't follow that logic. And as he's explaining this to me and using one of our nice knives that he just sharpened, so super sharp blade, guess what? He cut himself. Okay, so we want to extract this guy. Another thing, when you buy this harness and you're sitting there going, man, I don't know if I'm going to justify spending $200, $300 on a harness, know that you can harvest the wires later for other projects, other connections. These are really high quality wires. Obviously automotive grade. They can probably withstand more heat, whatever they need to be rated for and scoped out, spec'd out for, they deliver. On the other branch where we pulled the resolver cables from, there's also another connector for the vehicle speed sensor, I think. Put down in the comments if you guys are using that. I don't know of anyone who's actually relying on that for their speedometers. Okay. What a nice little mess. What is happening here? And how many wires are we pulling? 3, 6, 9. There's one pesky loose wire that's just getting in the way. Okay, I think I'm just going to... Wait, are they making a liar out of me? Yep. It looks like they're going back to our harmonica. Wow, I swore they went to the PCM. Okay, so we're going to start snipping. Okay, there's the pink one. Was it this one? Yep. There's a yellow one. And how to wire them up is documented really well on the inverter wiki page. Someone did a really good job with that. It may be... Okay, which one is this? That one. Now we have a green. So as far as the shift solenoids go, on my truck, I think I'm just in the high gear, and I just leave it in that, and that's just how I drive around. So I don't even have the shift solenoids connected. I'm not sure, but I'm using a different VCU than the Zombie. I'm using the old one. Now when I go to the Zombie, maybe I will implement that. I believe someone has figured out how to make those work. Okay, I think I just extracted those. So here it is. I'm gonna do my little typical roly-poly. Okay, so MG1 resolver cable, MG2 resolver cable, shift solenoids, harness, cable, wires, and then safety neutral switch. So this transmission does not have a reverse gear. When you put the vehicle in reverse, it just sends a signal which gear it thinks it's in or what gear you desire, and then sends negative torque signals to make the motor MG2 spin in the opposite direction. Okay, but the Zombie vehicle control unit is looking for the signals. It's acting like a traffic cop. So if you get in the car and it senses you're in park or in neutral, the vehicle is not going to move. The Zombie is not going to send any torque signals, be it positive or negative torque signals, to the inverter, because for safety, it knows you're in park or in neutral. So I don't think you can rev a electric car. It just won't do it. And then so when you put it in drive, the Zombie says, hey, we're in drive. Throttle pedal says, go, give it this much juice, and we go. And then if we put it in reverse, then the Zombie will send negative torque signals. So the neutral safety switch is important. Now, you don't need this harness if you want to do bench testing. You can just basically short out a few pins once you figure out which ones those are. I think you just need to supply either 5 volts or 12 volts to, let's say, the drive pin or the reverse pin, and you're going to essentially fool the Zombie into going, I think. Or you actually do that on the Zombie pin, sorry, not on the neutral safety switch pins. Okay, so those are the wires we need. I'm going to move these aside. And as I pointed out, 92% of this stuff we don't use. So there it is. But if you do buy a harness, then you can salvage these wires. You can harvest them for something else. So there we have it. Lexus GS450h 2013 wiring harness. This is the 4th gen wiring harness. It's thinned out, as I call it, or essentially stripped out. Out of it we have the resolver cables, shifting solenoids, and the safety neutral switch. Guys, thank you for sticking around. I hope this helps somebody out.